Okay, now let us start this book, The Energy Non-Crisis by Lindsay Williams. Now, Lindsay Williams, he was a chaplain on the northern sector of the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline. Now, he's making some very serious accusation against the United States government. He's basically calling them liars, right? Go get a copy of this book. It is copyright from 1980. And when these books are very old and they are giving so much information, they are usually very expensive. I just happened to stumble across this book. Now, this book is telling us about that there was never any energy crisis in the United States. If you go and check history, the papers will tell you that there was an energy crisis in the 1970s in the United States, to the point where people were going without electricity and their homes were cold. Right? Now, this gentleman is trying to tell us that it was all a plan, that these people lied to us. Now, anywhere there is one lie, there is usually many more. Now, I'm going to be reading sections of this book so you can get a feel of what this book is all about and why you should definitely get one. Keep it and share it with your friends and families, and let them realize that the lies goes to the very top, so you can have a better understanding of the lie of climate change and why they're pushing this climate change narrative so much. Is because this plan never worked, so they realize they've got to formulate another plan, another lie to the people in order to control them. So climate change is just a way to control you, because they try to control the natural resources but they couldn't do it. So they got to come up with another idea. So climate change is the idea. That is what they are using. So get the copy of this book so you can read the information for yourself. Now let's get into a bit of it. There is an artificially produced energy crisis, and it is for the purpose of controlling the American people. You see, if the government can control energy, they can control industry, they can control an individual, they can control business. It is well known that everything relates back to crude oil, right? Now, that is a section of that book there, and it is giving us all the receipts that we need as this gentleman worked on the pipeline. So he's telling you an eyewitness account as to what is happening, while they're saying that we don't have enough oil, we are going through crisis. He's saying that there was never any. There is more oil in Alaska than there is in Saudi Arabia. And each time they find the new oil wells, they are told to seal it, lock it down, and keep their mouths shut. Right? How brutal can you get? Now, let me read another little section of this book, because you really need to get a feel as to what this book is bringing and what it is giving. Now, in 1973, it was only the East Coast, the northern part in particular. There was no crisis in the West. There was no crisis in the Midwest. There was no crisis in the South. Why the Northeast? Because you see, that was the first testing ground to find out how far the government could take gullible Americans. Then, about the time folks were ready to revolt, suddenly there was no longer a crisis in the Northeast. All of a sudden, out of a clear blue sky, for no reason, it ceased to exist. All the gas you wanted. What can I say? What can I say? This book is basically giving me the business. Get it for yourself and you understand why this climate change is so dangerous, because they already tested the grounds and realized that this lie of withholding the natural resources could not stand their ground. So they have to come up with another one. Now, let me read another little section that is giving me life as well. The world today has become dependent on energy for its home, its light, its fuel, its automobile, its airplanes, its trucking industry, its railroads, its delivery of goods. Electricity is produced by the energy of today. every facet and aspect of our lives can be controlled when energy is controlled, right? Now, bear that in mind, people. Bear that in mind. There is no other product on the face of the earth that can control the American people and all the people of the world. Whoever controls the energy controls us. Can someone say Venezuela? Can someone say Venezuela? No, the truth is coming out. Now we're starting to fit the puzzles together. And thanks to this reverend gentleman here, he's telling you the government lied to you. Now, anywhere there's one lie, there is many more. Now, listen to this part that he wrote in 1980. Right? It's as if he's seeing through the future. You will, in fact, be controlled by a computer, which in turn is controlled by a dictator who will manipulate those under his controls like robots. Anybody can say artificial intelligence? This is the truth, that because of the convenience of all those sophisticated new systems, we are even now being lulled into complacency about retaining control over our own activities in the areas of banking and other financial transactions, in particular automatic deposit of your paycheck, automatic disbursement from your bank account, automatic grocery checkouts. This man is giving it to us. Telephone, bill paying, automatic 24-hour teller. We are being very subtle programmed to do business with machines, computers instead of people. The dictator will bring men and women into willing subjection by his favors. Example, homes, finances, jobs, etc. All the time, they themselves are like flies being drawn into the world wide web of intrigue. Stop it. Stand up and be counted. Soon it will be too late. What can I say? What else can I say about this gentleman and what he's saying? Soon it will be too late. This book was written in 1980 and he's letting you know that there was a testing ground to withhold the natural resources and it failed. They realized it wouldn't work, so they have to formulate a new plan, and the new plan is climate change. And that is what climate change is all about, restricting you from using crude oil. Period. Right? And another important section in the book where he stated, a nation void of character can neither demand nor expect good government. Good government is not a byproduct of a weak nation. And that is why our morality is been deteriorating bit by bit. We have to pray because they plan for our destruction and say, glory be to the Most High.